Hey everyone, I'm Nicholas.
Hey, I'm Jeremy.
And welcome back to another Hardware Junkies with LiveX.
Today we're excited to have two Panasonic PTZ cameras with us. Here we have the UE150 and the UE100, and we are going to dive into the flexibility of these cameras and why we love them so much, but really focus in on the IP video capabilities of both. Speaking of which, why are we here, Nicholas?
Certainly. So we actually did a demo with Panasonic here in front of our studio kitchen, where we utilized 6 of these total. We had 3 UE150s and 3 UE100s, and we demoed a cooking show for them with this.
Yeah, and that was a ground to cloud workflow, which we're going to really talk about a lot today, where all of these were in our facility here, streaming up to the cloud, but there was nothing besides a network cable attached to each one of these, because each one of these has really extensive video over IP capabilities. So as you can see, first of all, we only have one cable here. Both of these are PoE++ powered. So these are both attached to a network switch, and that network switch has a controller on it, but that's all you need here. It does video, data, control. Later we'll talk about some tracking. It kind of does it all over one cable. And so these both have 4K UHD outputs on SDI as well as HDMI. And they both have a 3G output as well, which is great. And you can use your network video and all of your outputs all at once, which is very useful, especially when you're doing like hybrid workflows. But there are a few differences with these.
Yeah, certainly. So the UE150 actually has a fiber out, which the UE100 does not support.
Yeah, and in addition to that, there are a couple other I/O differences, but this has a 24x zoom lens, and this has a 20, I believe. Yeah, and additionally, there's some sensor size differences. But the awesome thing about these is they have really good color matrix options, and they match extremely well. So even with those differences, I was directing the Panasonic demo. You were TDing it. Neither of us could tell which one was which.
Yeah.
Maybe when we were setting it up and we were really diving into some of the color and we were lighting it, we could see the difference a little bit, but functionally they match really, really well.
Yeah, you have so much control of just the color and the look of these. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the other thing is, especially this UE150, you can actually boost the gain up a little bit and it stays pretty clean. But with good studio lighting conditions, as you can see right now, they look great. I mean, we're using a UE150 to shoot this, and they're very, very sharp. They're very flexible, and they really act not like a RoboCam. A lot of people think that a robotic camera is going to look like a security camera or something like that. But I've seen these on stage at major concerts that are doing 4K like HDR.
Yeah, so also another similarity that these both have is they have an RJ45 connection in the back that supports RS422 connection. And that's basically just a direct connection to a controller.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go that route, though, you can obviously just do remote control with the LAN with these. That also supports so much more than just control.
Yeah, and that is oftentimes you're using SDI when you're doing that, right? But it also can support so many different network protocols. The first one I want to highlight is NDI. Not only can it do multiple flavors of NDI from regular fat NDI, it can also do efficient NDI. It also supports NDI tally. If you're using this for vMix, for example, these lights will light up green and orange, whether you're in preview and program. That's really useful. Now what I'm excited to get into is the other streaming capabilities. So starting out with SRT support.
Yeah. So with SRT, you can go directly out of these. You can do either H.264 or H.265 with that. Also with UHD, you can select that. And then, you just have to configure the, if you're in caller mode, you just want to set up the IP address for it. You set up the port, and then you also have the stream ID that these require.
Yeah, and we, when we're doing a ground to cloud workflow, we're using VVCR to do that with VVCR's production module. VVCR's stream input natively supports the way that Panasonic configures that stream ID. So we've developed that in. And so if you go from the ground H.265 up to Virtual Video Control Room, Virtual Video Control Room will actually transcode it to NDI, and then you can do NDI in the cloud using these cameras. And of course, you're not controlling them remotely yet, though that is something that I know Panasonic is looking into. But if you have your controller in the studio, for example, and you're switching in the cloud, that gives you a lot of power with not a lot of gear. You don't need separate encoders. You don't need a bunch of SDI cables. And of course, if you're doing NDI locally, or you can even do SRT locally, that gives you a lot of flexibility there as well.
Yeah. And besides just SRT, even though we really love to use that with our stuff, you can also do RTMP directly out from these. So say you just need to plop this down and you just need to stream to YouTube or stream to Facebook. You can use the audio in here as well, just connect a microphone, whatever you need, and then you can also go to those platforms as well.
Yeah, and you'll see a drop-down menu here of all the options. UDP is in there as well. They're extremely flexible. And as I mentioned before, this all can be used with the SDI outputs as well, which is very useful when you're doing hybrid workflows. You have a 12G out that can be used for records. You have a 3G out that can be used for multi-views or anything that doesn't support 12G. And you also have an HDMI out that you can put a monitor right on the camera so that you can see what it's seeing basically in real time. So you just get a ton of flexibility all in this one package. And when you consider all of that with the lensing, with the sensors that you get, and with the quality, all of a sudden this is replacing a lot of gear and it becomes a really great value. Well, I think that's all we have today. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.
Yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions about these or any opinions of your own of these, make sure to leave them down below, and we'll check them out.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See ya.